talking about today on Daily Blast Live.
Richard Dreyfuss gets accused of making offensive remarks at a Jaws screening event, reportedly causing people to walk out. Is it fair to judge someone of his age by today's standards? We're remembering NBA icon Bill Walton, who died of colon cancer. Dr. Kohli is here to tell us the warning signs you need to know. The bucket list family, who's been to all 7 continents and almost 100 countries, will be here live to share how they ended up becoming full-time travelers. And our interview with Terry Crews. He's telling us about the incredible acts on this season of AGT, including a 2-year-old with some major talent.
You will not believe it. You'll be like, this has got to be some kind of AI trick.
Oh my gosh.
Get real.
No. Y'all, just stop.
This is a sham.
It's finally here. Drum roll. Welcome to DBL. Hope you all had a wonderful holiday weekend. Okay, let's begin with 76-year-old Richard Dreyfuss. He is in hot water with some fans after taking part in a question and answer session before a screening of Jaws at a theater in Massachusetts. Video from the beginning of the event shows him coming on stage wearing a dress and shaking his butt to Taylor Swift. He then reportedly went into a rant about transgender kids, saying parents shouldn't listen to their kids who say they are trans. He also allegedly said women are too passive to make big movies work and took shots at both Barbra Streisand and Steven Spielberg. Now, some people online said that they walked out of the screening along with hundreds of others, but video of the end of the event does show Dreyfuss getting cheered by those that are left in the crowd. The theater that hosted the Q&A posted an apology saying his comments were, quote, not in line with values of inclusivity and respect at the theater. But others are saying the media is twisting this and that Dreyfuss was just sharing opinions that someone his age may hold. What do you think about this, Tori?
I loved Richard Dreyfuss. What about Bob? Close Encounters. Spielberg helped make his career. Jaws was a Spielberg film. I didn't know this side of him, but apparently there's some more smoke here, and I just want to give you guys some context. In 2023, he was really under fire for slamming when Oscars So White became a thing. They really tried to change that up in the past, and he said, this change that they're trying to do to add more diversity makes me want to vomit. That's a quote. He says, I don't think there's a minority or majority in the country that has to be catered to like that. He also loved, in 2023, Laurence Olivier's performance in blackface in Othello, saying, am I being told that I will never have a chance to play a black man? And finally, his son said, now you know why I refused to give him the password to his own Twitter account for a decade. Now, we don't know if he said we're getting these as alleged reports, but if he did, you're allowed to say that, but you're also allowed to have the consequences of, I'm not going to watch a Richard Dreyfuss film anytime soon, and his legacy has changed in my book. So that's what happens when you say stuff like that.
I've been going back and forth about this because this is a tough story because we don't have any direct quotes. But I think no matter what he said, I have an issue more about where he said it. I kind of started to think about, I don't like to look at the stories we do as just individual situations. So I started thinking about Harrison Butker last week in his comments at that conservative Catholic college in which he gave the commencement. And there, he was in a venue where people were mostly Catholic, mostly conservative, and were there to kind of hear that kind of commencement speech. I look at this screening for Jaws or this Q&A with Richard Dreyfuss about Jaws. People weren't there for that.
Right.
Are you legally allowed to express your opinion? Absolutely. Even if I totally disagree with it. But I feel like it's getting harder and harder to just find the things you love without the things that you're trying to get away from all the time, just still making their way in because it seems like it's constantly on people's minds.
I feel like this is a reflection of what's happening in the lives of a lot of people right now. I am a huge fan of the show Hacks on HBO. Jean Smart is the lead character, and she plays Deborah Vance, who is a female comedian of a certain age. And there is a part in it where all her career she has wanted to be accepted by this group of male comedians. And when she finally is invited into their inner layer, actor, as if you will, she finds that she's become far more progressive than where they are, their humor, their comedy. And having to understand that people that she had revered and been so wanting to be accepted by, she had surpassed in terms of like keeping up with what's happening in the now. And they hadn't. And I think a lot of people are finding themselves in those situations with people that they love or they, you know, respected all these years. And maybe you did grow up with the same ideology, but somewhere along your journey, you changed and other people didn't.
It feels like J.K. Rowling too to me. Like it just feels
Absolutely.
like when you said like why not? Like no one asked for his opinion.
What if they did because it was a Q&A? Again, I agree with you.
Right.
That's a
I'm going
great
to play devil's
hypothetical.
advocate
Sure,
here
please.
in a Q&A, especially if it's an hour long and people are asking questions that opens the door to such topics. Would you think of it differently, even if you disagree with his ideology?
Yes, because it's in the content. Now, he walked out in a dress, and apparently had someone rip it off. You're coming in with some ideas of what you want to talk about. That's
Right.
not
I would say so.
organically coming in. Right.
Right.
There's no need to do that. Now, I don't know. I don't know if he's
that is
well.
something, Tori, that you said I think is super interesting. Is everybody, because I think if you see yourself as a progressive, when somebody speaks on progressive ideology, you're like, I always liked Erica and everything she did, and I agree with her ideology. But is that same person ready to say, I really liked Erica and everything she did, but I totally disagree with her stance? Are we at that point where we are unable to separate the art from the artist?
I hope
because
not.
everything is so intensely personal now. It's hard to say that I would be able to follow an actor if I knew that they were homophobic. That would be a very that would create inner turmoil for me. So I don't know if I could do that, as progressive and forward-thinking as I think I am. I don't know if I could separate those two things.
Well, you can protect the right to speak it. You don't have to protect your right to believe it.
Right.
And if
not
that
like it.
tarnishes their image in your mind, I think that's okay. It's a
Yeah.
case-by-case basis.
Totally.
Right.
All right, coming up on DBL Good Conversation, we are remembering NBA icon Bill Walton, who died of colon cancer. Dr. Kohli is here to tell us the warning signs you need to know. And we're talking with the Bucket List family, how they turned their passion for travel into a whole lifestyle as a family
my
travel
God.
journalist.
Oh,
so
we should have
okay.
warned Tori.
Yo.
Oh, yeah, she's not a fan of
That
whales.
was mean.
Yo.
Welcome back to DBL. We've got our very own Dr. Kohli joining us, and today we are remembering Bill Walton, the NBA Hall of Famer and broadcasting star, died yesterday. He was 71 years old. Walton won 2 national college championships with UCLA and then went on to win championships with the Portland Trail Blazers and the Boston Celtics. He also overcame a stutter to become a beloved commentator. He died following a battle with colon cancer. Ooh, wow. May he rest in peace, and may prayers and thoughts to his family. What a legend.
Yeah. So, Dr. Kohli, we thought that'd be a very good opportunity to talk about colon cancer just in general. It's everywhere. It's in the zeitgeist. It's everywhere. Now, why do you say, we can scroll that, why you say, keep going, screening for the disease is so essential? That came out very smoothly, didn't it?
So think about your colon, Tori. What is it? It's a hollow organ, right? It's designed to hold stool. So it can hide a cancer really well. And oftentimes you don't get symptoms, and the symptoms would be nausea, fatigue, bloating, abdominal pain, changes in your stool habits, blood in your stool, until it's too late.
Jeez.
And because the cancer grows bigger and bigger and bigger. So our goal is to catch that cancer when it's just in the lining of the colon, not when it's actually gotten into the middle of the colon. And to do that, we really have to look, because early detection is so important. It's a difference between a cure and a death sentence. And you can go on actually to have precancerous polyps in your colon that if you snip them out, they're never going to turn into cancer. So it's not just an early detection, it's actually a preventive intervention as well.
Yeah, the polyps was what they were talking to me about when I had my colonoscopy. They were like, do we have your permission to take them? I was like, no, leave them. Yeah, get them out. What are you talking about? Yes, absolutely.
So how old were you, Al, when you had your colonoscopy?
This was last year, so 45, but late into my 45. And I can actually say, for as much as I've probably slacked for years on my health, I was really proactive about this, because I lost my grandfather to colon cancer, and I just know, being a black man, that's a high risk area for us. So a lot of times I think sometimes your physician may say, you're a little early for that, but I was really aggressive about getting it done. I got a colonoscopy. For anybody that's worried, get it done.
Yeah.
It's painless.
Well, and 45 is now
rough.
the new 50. It used to be 50, now 45 is the new 50. And if you have a family history, if you have risk factors, if you're Black American, anything like that, it might even be earlier than 45. So really do get on top of it.
And this is what I wanted to ask you about, Doc, because they're saying that colon cancer is increasing in people under 55. So what do you attribute that to?
Oh, this is really tragic. I mean, you're seeing people in their 20s, college kids having colon cancer. Not only is it increasing, it's more advanced than it is in the older people. And now part of the problem is we're not looking in our younger people, but part of the problem is actually our lifestyle, right? Lifestyle has really kicked our butt when it comes to our cancer risk. We're more sedentary, we're more obese than ever before, we're drinking more, we're probably smoking more, and I'm talking about tobacco or marijuana, and we're eating red meat, we're eating processed foods, we're eating low fiber diets. All of these are probably contributing to our risk. So I like to tell my patients, you only get one body. There's no replacement parts, there's no spare parts, and there's no replacement or warranty on your body. So you really have to treat it right. We can't control our genetics, but we can control what we put inside us and what we do with our lifestyle.
I know like 3 college kids friends that have died of colon cancer that are like my age. I'm not even kidding you. It is everywhere around me.
Is this weird?
My grandpa too, sorry, Dad.
No,
but
Tori,
it's crazy.
I'm glad you're saying what you're saying.
Yeah.
I didn't think in my 20s that it was possible for me to get sick. I've lost a friend to non-Hodgkin's. I've lost a friend to heart disease. These are people that were on my sports teams with me that are my age.
Yeah.
And I just didn't, in my 20s, I didn't think colon cancer was even something that was possible to get.
It's the leading cause of cancer death in men under 50, the second leading cause in women.
And this shot up kind of recently.
It has, and we're talking about this phenomenon of accelerated aging. We're actually aging faster from our cells than we used to before. We think a lot of it is environmental and lifestyle choices, but what we used to think were old people diseases like heart disease and cancer and such are now happening in the younger populations.
Wow. So go to your doctor, get preventative checkups,
Never
right?
too early.
Yes.
It's never too early.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Kohli, for joining us. DBL Nation, follow, sorry, Al. Oh my gosh. Follow Dr. Kohli on social media at Pile Kohli MD. Also, be sure to subscribe to her YouTube page. Plus, check out her podcast, Heart of Medicine, wherever you listen to your podcast. Also, something new, Conversations with Dr. Kohli.
Oh.
Yes.
Another thing. Yep. She wears many hats.
Wait, where can we hear that? What?
Is it YouTube?
It's on my YouTube channel.
Are you joking?
Okay, what should we type into YouTube to find it?
Conversations.
Google my name in YouTube.
Woo.
Okay.
My channel.
Get it,
Got it.
Dr. Kohli. She does it all. We'll be right back.
Unbelievable.
This next family is so cool. Welcome back. So traveling the world is a dream for many of us, but would you ever make it your reality? So a family of 5 found a way to become full-time world travelers, and they've been dubbed the Bucket List Family. Before we chat with them, take a look at their story.
It's 2007 when Jessica and Garrett G meet for the first time.
We actually met, we were serving church missions for our church back in Vladivostok, Russia.
A few years later, while attending the same college, they start dating and immediately connect over their love of travel.
Our second date was me traveling to Colorado to see Jessica. And then our third date was her traveling with me to Seattle to go visit my family.
In 2009, they marry, and Garrett sells an iPhone app he spent years working on to Snapchat. The sale gives the newlyweds total financial freedom and brings up a new dilemma. What now?
It just didn't feel natural or comfortable for us to go out and like splurge and buy a house or a car or a boat or anything like that. Jessica proposed, what if we did a little bit of traveling?
They sell their belongings and set off on a 4-month adventure around the world.
The thought was when we come home in December, we're done. In the meantime, Garrett had created an Instagram and a YouTube, and I think he had this vision from the very beginning. So we had said, let's keep going.
Ooh, can you imagine? And get this, they have since been to all 7 continents and to almost 100 countries. So to share more, please welcome to the show Jessica and Garrett G. Wow.
Hello, good morning from Hawaii.
Oh my goodness.
Wow, aloha.
What a life.
I love this. This is aspirational in so many ways. What were some of the initial challenges of living out of a suitcase for so long and traveling full time with 3 kids?
Little ones.
Yeah.
I feel like the biggest challenges were in the beginning was just overpacking. I brought so much stuff. In my brain, I was like, oh, there's not going to be diapers in other countries. But I was totally wrong. So overpacking was probably my biggest fault in the very beginning.
I feel like I need to say nice life, y'all.
Yeah, good job.
This is so cool. You've gotten this unique experience where you've gotten a chance to see so many countries. So did you fall in love with any countries that you didn't expect you would?
I remember one of the first countries we visited was New Zealand, and ever since, Jessica has been making her best attempts to move to New Zealand.
Yes.
Just absolutely fell in love with it. But that's been the way for a lot of countries, that we go there just very open-minded, fall in love with it, and could just really settle down there. It's a really special opportunity to experience that side of just so many different cultures.
Oh, the nomadic ideal. Oh my God. You're known as the bucket list family. How often are you adding things to the list? And can I ask, do your kids contribute? Like, can they be like, I want to swim with octopi, and then you do?
Yeah, so actually a couple months ago, we said, what do you guys want to do this summer? And my daughter Dorothy was saying she wanted to go see the panda bears in China. So this summer, we're off to go see the panda bears in Chengdu, China.
Oh my God.
Love it. So you two make traveling look pretty effortless, but also fun. But everyone has a traveling nightmare. So what was the worst travel day that you've ever had?
We had one last summer that was pretty epic. It started with us losing our luggage. We're professional travelers, so we carry on. We have all carry-on bags. And in Africa, they insisted that we check these bags, much to my dismay. So check our bags, lose our luggage. I remember just like the day just evolved with bloody noses, so we didn't have the clothing. And then that same day, my littlest, he got what's called a bot fly. And a bot fly is like literally like larva. He got it right at the top of his head. A fly like implants its larva, so there was literally like, it was awful.
I would advise you not to dive too deep into our Instagram and find a video of us pulling the worm, the larva, out of our child's head. It was a lot, and it didn't help that we didn't have our luggage to change of clothes. He was bleeding. it was quite the mess.
But you made it. But you made it work. You know, here I am.
We did get our luggage back.
Good.
And now he goes to school and he brags to all of his friends about his, what we call it, the head monster. He's very proud of his head monster now.
He slayed the head monster. I like that. So since you guys are traveling professionals, now here's me compared to like that story. I'm nervous about taking my kids on a long road trip.
Hey,
So give me some tips, please, to keep them busy. I have a 4-year-old and a 6-year-old who are repetitive with, are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Give me some tips.
My favorite tip, especially for probably kids about your ages, is to get them involved in the planning, get them involved in the packing. They know what's in their backpack. They know what snacks are coming. They're really excited for the journey, not just the destination.
Oh, I love that.
So cute.
And can I just comment really quickly on Garrett's shirt? It says, "Ask me about my wife's book." Smart. And I have it right here. Smart. Yes.
I'm just
a
the
walking
world's
billboard.
Most proud husband over
You're
here.
a great
My wife
husband.
wrote the book for National Geographic called Bucket List Family Travel, and I'm just her #1 fan.
Well, it's fantastic. I have your book right here, and I'm so excited. It's heavy, it's beautiful, it's fantastic. So Jessica and Garrett, thank you so much for joining us today. To our viewers, pick up a copy of their book, Bucket List Family Travel, wherever books are sold, and be sure to follow them at the Bucket List Family. Thank you again, you two. Congratulations.
What a
So
life.
cool.
Say hi to the pandas.
Thank you so much.
We'll be right back.
Yes, thank you.
Oh, cool.
Welcome back to DBL. We love sharing your comments. In regard to the bucket list interview, Damiana says, I can't find the adjective to describe this opportunity for them, especially their children. What a blessing. Yes. Megan says, I'm going to have to check that book out. Looks fun. It's certainly super cool. I was just looking at the pictures. And then Bobcat Steph 3 says, Tori just wanted to say octopi.
It's a great way. Also, it's a subtle flex. I know I don't say octopuses. You don't say it.
Nobody says octopuses.
I've heard people say it, and then I look at them and I judge them and I walk away and I go, pie.
If you're leaving us, you can watch the second half of the show on Facebook or at dailyblastlive.com. But if you get the second half of the show where you are, here is what's ahead. A cartoonist is sharing how she's helping other women go through the difficult experience of a miscarriage. And our interview with Terry Crews, he's telling us all about the incredible acts on this season of AGT.
This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about.
Oh my gosh.
Get real.
No. Y'all, just stop.
This is a sham.
It's finally here. Drum roll.
Oh, welcome to DBL. So today we're going to do things a little different. And instead of talking about the latest entertainment news, we're going to show you our interview with a celeb who discovered acting after leaving the NFL. Now he's known for hit movies and shows like White Chicks and Everybody Hates Chris. Earlier, we caught up with the one and only Terry Crews about his career and hosting America's Got Talent. Take a look.
Put it somewhere else. I'm gonna put it back, like.
No. Please help me welcome AGT host Terry Crews. Yes, we love you. Yes.
All right, Terry, before we get started, I love a comeback story. You made a major comeback from depression after leaving the NFL. How did you discover your talent as an actor?
You know, by mistake. What happened is I went broke.
That'll do it.
You know, one thing, I was desperate. I was like, what am I going to do to feed my family? And a friend of mine invited me to an audition, and I had nothing to lose. You know what I mean? That was the thing. There's nothing to lose. You just feel like, hey, you know what? I'm just going to give it all I got. And it kept working. And I kept getting new stuff. And the thing I like to call it is being unembarrassable. I don't really get embarrassed. It's one of the things, I don't mind trying things and looking like a fool and falling down. But what happens is you get better as you keep going. And that was 25 years ago, now that I think about it.
Yeah, and here you are now. First of all, that's such a great life lesson. But I want to get into this story because this is really cool. You ran into your Friday After Next co-star Ice Cube, friend of our show, and you said to him, thank you. What exactly were you thanking him for?
For giving me my shot. You know, one thing is a lot of times people forget, you know, Ice Cube put so many careers online. Like, he put us out. You know what I mean? There's no way, I don't see another avenue that I would have had in order to be a big guy doing comedy and the whole thing. And Cube believed in me. You know what I'm saying? And it was the start of so many things. And a lot of times, I think he never got the props that he deserved.
So gracious, so humble. I love it. Okay, we got to talk about AGT because you're back for season 19, and now the show is breaking records. And I heard, you have to tell me, is there a 2-year-old on the show? And what is this 2-year-old said talent?
Oh. First of all, it blows my mind. This was a baby. I think they took the bottle out of his mouth and put him on stage. It was like, what are we watching right now? And this kid could do the most complex equations ever.
What?
And I couldn't believe it. This is let you know there's no end to human capability. I couldn't believe it. I was watching something, we were watching a real prodigy in person. What can I say? It's like, you can do more than you ever thought. When I looked at this kid, I was like, oh my God, man. It took me to a whole nother thing. And listen, it's on stage. You were gonna watch it. You will not believe it. You'll be like, this has gotta be some kind of AI trick.
You know, you're talking about this prodigy, but this season will feature some of the wildest acts ever. Explain to people, explain to us why people are talking about Howie Mandel with the plunger on his head.
Excuse
me? Walk us through that.
First of all, Howie he's gonna do what he do. You know what I mean? And I have to tell you this about the judges. Everybody's at the top of their game right now. You know what I mean? When you're talking about America's Got Talent, you're talking about, you know, Howie is one of the most respected, amazing comedians ever. Heidi is still modeling and rocking and hosting. Sophia's a major superstar. Griselda was the #1 show in the whole world.
It was so good.
And then Simon Cowell is a legend. You know what I mean? So you're talking about, and then with me, I like to call it the Avengers. No, I ain't stopping either, man. I'm at the top of my game right now. You know what I'm saying? And I like to say we're like the Avengers. I'm like the Hulk. You know what I mean? And everybody else has their own superpower, you know? And it feels good. All 5 of us rocking it out. And season 19, it's the best ever. And they got 2 golden buzzers each now, which is great. They used to have 1, now they have 2.
I like it.
That's amazing. What's also amazing is that this is your 6th season hosting AGT, which is super impressive for any host. But what has impressed you the most of those 6 seasons that you've seen or heard or done?
You know, just watching people become household names. Yeah, I'm from Flint, Michigan, okay? I turn around and here I am in Hollywood doing this stuff. It's a dream come true. But when I talk to these acts, no one knows who they are when they walk in, but by the end of the season, they become household names. You know what I mean? We had an act that performed with Beyonce in Dubai. They won the season 2 seasons ago, and all of a sudden, you know, you realize they're performing with Beyonce at this moment. It's so life-changing, and it's so huge. I've been everywhere around the world, and everybody knows America's Got Talent. This is the flagship.
It is. It's inspirational, and so are you. Thank you so much, Terry. DBL Nation, catch the season 19 premiere of America's Got Talent tonight on NBC. Great to see you, Terry.
Appreciate
Thank you so
it. Come back
much.
soon, man.
Congrats.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. Thank you.
And coming up on DBL, you'll want to stick around for today's Deal Blast. We've got everything from headphones to an amazing hair tool. Plus, would you want to live in the iconic Home Alone house? We'll tell you how much it's on the market for now. And a woman is sharing how she turned the heartbreaking experience of a miscarriage into a relatable comic book so other women wouldn't feel so alone. Welcome back. So we have a question. What do you do when things in your life get tough? Our next guest has taken one of the most heartbreaking things a woman can go through and turned it into comic strips for people in similar situations. So please help me welcome cartoonist Sherry Pear to DBL.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Sherry.
Sherry, hi there. So glad to meet you. You create what you call cartoonmentaries. Cartoonmentaries, I'm so good. Okay, to talk about some actually very, very difficult situations. And you started them with your own miscarriage. I wanted to ask you what made you decide to actually share your story and in that way.
Well, I've always been very open with my life, and I've discovered that if something bad happens to you, what's the point of going through it unless something good can come from it? So I've made comics throughout my career that help have positive messages. I try to use my cartoon powers for good. So I've worked on comics about abusive marriages and escaping them. I've done coloring books for kids with diabetes. I have a graphic novel about bully prevention. I've worked with author Gretchen Rubin to create a comic as a supplement to her Happiness Project, which was a #1 New York Times bestseller. So throughout my career, I really try to do good. So of course, when I had such a traumatic situation, it was natural for me to want to use it to turn it into a good purpose.
And did sharing that help you process your own experience?
Absolutely. I feel like as soon as I put my pen to digital paper, it really took all the pain, the emotional pain, and transformed it into something else. I created the resource that I didn't have 10 years ago when I went through my situation, and I was alone, and I had a toddler, and my husband was out of town, and the internet was not a place that helped me. So I created the resource that I hope is helpful for other women.
Unbelievable.
Well, Big Bang Theory star Maya Bialik shared your first comic, and the comments started flooding in. So how did it feel knowing that so many women shared a similar situation?
Well, at first it was really frustrating because until I started talking, I didn't know how common it was that 1 in 4 pregnancies ended up in a miscarriage. I found out my own mom thinks she had a miscarriage and didn't realize it. So, you know, I'm glad that there's strength in numbers and that the community of people, we're part of a club that we don't want to be a part of. So it's nice to know that there are other people there going through what I'm going through and I'm not alone. But, you know, it's, like I said, I try to create a resource that brings people together, and it's really, I'm sorry that it's something that's useful to people, but I'm glad that my comics and now my animated cartoon series is doing its purpose and helping people feel less alone.
Good for you. It's such a community, a very much needed one at that. And you have since created the Unspoken series and told stories of 2 other people, a man who experienced his wife's miscarriage and a pregnant woman who received a Down syndrome diagnosis for her baby. How do you take on other people's stories?
Well, the expansion of the project came out in a really funny way. A couple of days after Mayim had shared my comic, I was telling my husband, who's the editor on my project, my husband Ellie Schiff, he's the editor, he's the co-producer of my animated shorts, and the voiceovers on it. And so I was telling him, you know, as little as women talk about miscarriages, I should really consider doing a comic from a husband's perspective, because as little as women talk about miscarriages, men don't really voice their opinions at all.
Right.
And an hour later, I got an email from a fan telling me, you know, you should really consider doing a comic from a husband's perspective, because my husband really struggled. And that turned into Michael's miscarriage. And I realized there's so many unspoken topics that are there, you know, so I tackled a Down syndrome diagnosis, and the ultimate plan is to expand the project to tackle stillbirth, secondary infertility, postpartum depression. Unfortunately, there's so many issues, and I would love to give a voice to everybody suffering so that in their situation, they have a resource to let them feel that they're in it with someone else and they can get through it.
Wow.
I'm so happy that we're talking to you, and you're kind of voicing what I've always thought but never said, because I thought it would hit people's ears wrong, but I don't think that art can be created without trauma. I don't think it's possible. If you think about stand-up comedy, you think about Amy Winehouse, you think about Van Gogh, you think about Tupac, there has to be, hip-hop came from the inner cities falling apart and people crying out for help. So what you're doing is so important. So I want to ask you, in your opinion, I've been doing comedy for 20 years, how can comedy help people heal from trauma? And let's be honest, is anything off limits?
Well, you know, I tackle very different. I have a background in comedy as well, but for this project, it's a little bit more serious. But I try to, you know, comedy is a way to digest very difficult topics. So even in my comics and my animations, I have little bits of humor and lightheartedness, and I create a style that's I hope, universally friendly so that it's easily digestible. And as for something, humor is subjective, right? So something that works for me might not work for you, and vice versa. So I really don't know if there's anything that can be off limits, because what's off limits for me might be not off limits for someone else.
Absolutely.
No, that's a very healthy perspective. Well, I think more people need to adopt that. Sherry, thank you so much for being here.
I love this.
For sharing your story to our audience. You can read Sherry's Unspoken series at sherrypear.com. You can also contribute to the continuation of the series by buying merch on her website. Congratulations. Thank you so much, Sherry.
Bravo.
Thank you. We'll be right back. Welcome back. We've got some great products from our friends at Morning Save. Check them out.
All right, what do you have for us today, Steph?
Hey, Tori, and hello, DBL Nation. We are super excited to show you everything we've got today. You're going to love it. So let's go shopping and check everything out. First up, we've got the Sunbeam Infrared No Touch Dual Use Thermometer. So this deal includes one thermometer and batteries, and this thermometer will give quick, contactless forehead readings and gentle and dependable measurements from the ear. So there's a color-coded fever indicator and an audio alert to let you know when temperatures are rising. So handy, and especially if you're dealing with someone that's unwell and you don't want also to get sick yourself, it means you can do it from a safe distance, which is super handy.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Normally this is $30. However, we've got it for $9, which is saving 70%.
That's like Star Trek had those, and I never thought that they would exist, but they go brrrr, and they can read the temperature and the ear. If you have a wriggling, sick infant, get this. It's $9. You'll thank me later.
Absolutely, so smart. And I love that it's non-contact, so you don't have to like sterilize it all the time and everything. Really handy, you know?
Very smart.
And then next up, we've got the Cobalt X Audify over-ear headphones with noise reduction.
I love these.
This doorbuster deal includes one pair of headphones. We've got them in 4 colors, and you can easily connect them to your Bluetooth to listen to your music and take phone calls. The adjustable slider and plush ear cushions create the perfect fit for you. And we all know when we say doorbuster deal, it means they're going to fly out. So we've got a big, strong limit, 3 per customer.
These are my favorite.
This is going to be a top seller, I'm telling you. So normally these are $90.
Okay.
We've got them for $15. That's saving 83%.
I'll be honest with you guys, I never wear earbuds. They don't go into my canals. I have small canals.
Yes.
So I always always wear over the head and I'm looking for chic gray minimal, that is the one I'm gonna get.
I love it, and they look pretty good too, right?
Agreed, agreed.
Now this is right up my alleyway, and trust me, I wish you could smell this because it smells heavenly. This is a 3-pack Aqua de Soy 21-ounce triple wick candles. The deal includes 3 candles available in 5 different scents. They are soy wax candles made with essential oils. They've got 100% cotton wick, which means toxins will not be released into your home.
That's great.
Speaking of the wick, multi-wick candles are known to burn more evenly, so that means you'll get a beautiful bright flame and a stronger scent.
Nice.
So normally these are $27 each.
Yeah, that's normal.
However, we've got a 3-pack for $29.99. That's saving 63%.
That's like $10 a can to you guys. With 3 wicks each, you got a whole bunch of flames going around.
Absolutely, and they look chic too. These are going to look beautiful on any coffee table, on the side, you know, your bedside table. Lovely.
Lovely, good price.
And then last but not least today, we've got the Adagio California Air One Styler set. This deal includes 1 wand with 5 attachments, and with so many different pieces, you can mix up your look almost every day of the week. The adjustable heat and speed settings allow you to customize your experience so it's safe for all hair types.
Oh, I like this.
I really like this because with this you can obviously curl, you can give yourself a good blowout. This is like a hair dryer. So this is so handy as well if you're out and about and on the go and don't want to take multiple different tools with
just
you.
switch it up.
So normally this is $299.
No, Steph, no.
I know, but we have it for $39.99.
Yes, Steph.
That's saving 87%.
To get it for that price and to know that you can use it for different ways, you're safe. It's like a hair salon in one. All right, guys, you know what to do. Head on over to morningsave.com to snag all these amazing deals at the lowest prices, or you can even scan the QR code right on screen to take you directly to these products on Morning Save's website. Thank you so much, Steph.
Coming up on DBL, the iconic house from Home Alone is for sale. Wait until you see how it looks inside.
I live there.
Welcome back to DBL. So we've all heard of doom scrolling, and we've talked about it on the show, where you just mindlessly scroll through content on social. Well, now a study says that the average American spends more than 2 hours a day dream scrolling. That's when you look at dream purchases or dream homes. But get this, more than 70% say dream scrolling is time well spent because it motivates them to reach their financial goals. You were shaking your head, Erica.
Yeah, because my husband and I are always looking at houses, talking about where we're going to live in like 3 years, 5 years. And because of dream scrolling, well, and hard work, but dream scrolling.
And hard work. Lots of hard work by this one.
It's just been like, we just say it as if that's actually happening, because then you start preparing yourself like, all right, we're not spending money here because we're going to go and do this in 2 years, or we're going to fix up this in the apartment because we're going to sell it for this, and then we'll be able to buy that. So it kind of like manages your expectations of your finances, and it makes it a little bit more realistic.
It's true. Beautiful. And speaking of dreaming of luxury homes, check this out. You can own a piece of movie history for just over $5 million. The Home Alone house, located in a suburb outside of Chicago, is for sale. Now, the exterior was used in the 1990 film starring Macaulay Culkin, of course. Fans will also recognize some other parts of the house. Watch.
Does this look familiar to you? No more compartmentalized kitchen in this house. Bye-bye, Mrs. McAllister. Hello, open kitchen floor plan.
This is probably the most amazing sport court I have ever seen. We have a true three-point line. We are down 25 feet. Bye-bye, scary attic.
As much as I love the original charm, I love the redo.
Way better.
Right?
There's no discussion. That house was amazing. I would buy that. It'd be my last day on DBL. I'm going to be in my house. It's been a pleasure, y'all.
You'd be home alone
that
by
house
yourself.
Was amazing.
It was. Now, the famous Home Alone thing, the exterior was shot, but if you really want to know, the interior of both Ferris Bueller's, many of it, and a lot of the interior shot of Home Alone was shot in a New Trier high school, and they took out the pool.
What do you mean they took out the pool?
They drained the pool, took it out, and built a soundstage and built the entire McAllister's home within it. They used the gym as well and removed it, and they created the life that you know of in that entire set.
Wow,
Isn't that
very cool,
insane?
Tor.
Thanks.
Thank you. DBL's new every day. We'll see you tomorrow, same time, same place. Bye, guys.